Welcome to the newsroom. Alright, so this is going to be a longer video than usual, but for those that are interested in how I find stocks, this is the video for you. If you want to just fast forward or just find out what stocks I've picked, it's in the description. You could just quickly look at that and move on, whatever. But if you want to see, you might learn some new things because I have some really good tricks and places I go to give me that extra confirmation and give me the confidence to buy that particular stock. Alright, so I'm going to start the screen sharing now. Okay, so the first place I'm going to go to is FinViz. A lot of you probably already know this, so you're not learning anything new here. I'm just going to go to Screener, and I'm going to start scanning for biotech stocks. So just follow along, I'll talk my way through it. So I'm just going to choose the sector and the industry. Obviously, we're looking for biotechs. I'm going to try and look for companies that are working on vaccines, since that's what's popular right now. It's a rainy day today, so it's perfect for a long video. You can just watch along and maybe get some insights, some ideas, and help you all make some money when you find the stocks that you're interested in buying. All right, so I like to stay invested in stocks. Let's do under $7. Okay, let's try and narrow it down because there's already a lot. How many were there? There's 536. So we're gonna try and narrow that down. So we'll do under 7. Chop that in half. Let's do the volume. I don't want to find stocks that are 10 shares a day. You know, we obviously want stocks that move a good amount of volume. Let's do over 500. There we go, we're down to 100. And I'm gonna adjust this. 100's good. We want a lot of options, so I'm gonna adjust this by charts, and I'm just gonna blow through this and just see what charts catch my eye. I feel like my skill set is in understanding a company's technicals. So just looking at a chart and seeing if it's a good setup. So I'm just gonna blast through this. Make a little notepad. All right, so I got a little notepad so I can jot down stocks I'm looking at. All right, let's just blast through here. Alphabetical. So again, I'm just looking for some quick setups. A lot of A's. This one looks pretty good. Let's click into it. It's showing some really good strength along here. It's showing that it's not really breaking this major trend line. So let's just add 3, and then I'm going to show you what I do to move on to the next stage. First stage is let's just find the 3 tickers, and then I'll move on and show you what's next. So I'm going to try and do this fast. This one's looking decent, but I don't like this purple trend line. This one looks good. IBIO. I may have seen that one. IBIO. Let's add him. I like the way that this is forming to a possible nice U formation here. Let's keep going. All right, let's do this one. OBSV. I like that this is trending up. And we have a big gap here, which stocks typically tend to close. So this has a potential of 7. So let's add OBSV. OBSV. Okay, we got our 3 stocks. Okay, so BCRX, $5.46, 18,000 people own it. Okay, let's quickly look at the chart. showing really good strength. Really good strength. Okay, that looks good. What do they do? I like to first look at the company. What do they do? How long they've been in business, etc. Is this a simple pump and dump? And then after that, I'll move on to the next stage, which you'll see. That's the areas you'll actually really like. This is all pretty self-explanatory. So they've been founded in 1986. That's good. A lot of employees. What do they do? Designs and develops novel oral and small molecular medicines. Its drug candidates include. Okay. I'm learning as I go. I don't know what any of that means. I am not a scientist, but I'm more technical, and I like the way this is setting up. This all looks good. 0 sell rating. Looks like they're keeping up just around earnings, so they're good. Let's move on to the next one. IBIO. IBIO. All right. So downtrend over a week, but like I said, it could be forming that nice up, that U formation. I like this. It's showing that it's moving on to the next level. And I like this nice slow U formation consolidating for a possible push up to 289 range. It was at 245, 5-year. I do not like the 5-year overall downtrend, but it did bottom out. It'd be nice if I would have had this 23 cents, but it could be at the beginning of a start to trend up. Let's see what the company does. Biotech company engages in development and manufacture of biotherapeutics. Its pipeline include whatever. It operates through IBIO business segments. Okay, another one founded in 1993. They've been around for a while. 6 employees. Not a lot of employees. But that's okay for now. Usually biotechs don't have a lot of employees. I'm surprised the other one had that many. So we're going to leave them on there. Let's look at OBSV. OBSV. 2,000 people, 89% buy. 1 week looks pretty solid. 1 month looks great. 3 months looks great. Again, on the yearly. Biotechs usually don't live long. So I'm not really interested in a 1 year or 5 year. I'm more interested in the short term because they have their spurts where they just shoot up and then they fade out, and that's it for the year. Then they'll do it again every year. So let's see what they do. Engages in research and development of therapeutic treatments for women's reproductive health and pregnancy. Okay, that's pretty big. I understand those words. It offers biopharmaceutical drugs addressing conditions compromising pregnancy from conception to birth. Okay. That's good. Let's see. Founded 2012. Fairly new. 50 employees. They have a great buy rating. Really great buy rating. And again, they're just around expected or estimated earnings. So all good news there. All right. These 3 look good. They passed the test. Now let's move on to the next stage. Okay, so I like to go on StockTwits. StockTwits is obviously full of a lot of pumpers. Everyone pumps, so be aware of that. But I do like to go on here because there are a few select amount of people, maybe 15, 20%, that actually do their research and know a lot about that company because they've been investing in it a while, or they actually do a lot of DD. So for me to quickly get caught up, if I want to invest in this company, say tomorrow, I can't do all my DD in one day. So I'll go on here, I'll browse through and use my common sense just to try and find people that I feel are being truthful. So I'm just gonna go through here and just do a quick browse. Fuck out of here, Ed. Alright, I don't know what that means. Okay, so it seems like they have a drug, Galidazivir. This person's 30 a share. Who knows? Okay, so I'm not gonna spend too much time on this, just because I'm trying to fit this all in one video. But it seems like it's some type of drug for COVID-19, maybe a vaccine, maybe something that treats side effects, something of that sort. I'm not gonna spend too much time on this. Don't get mad at me. I'm just showing you the process of what I do. I'll pretty much scroll through this and I'll try and figure out what it is. You know, if I could find anyone that did a lot of DD on it and expresses exactly what it is in the comments. But that's that. So the next step, I'm going to stick with BCRX. The next step would be I go to see the institutional and insider ownership. So to do that, just Google BCRX. Here we go. Nasdaq and Holdings, and go to Nasdaq. Okay, here it is. All right, so you want to go to Nasdaq Institutional Holdings. So it's owned 80% by institutional ownership. That's really good. So more increased positions than decreased. The decreased is a little high, but decrease could just mean, you know, 5-10%. Here we go. So new and sold is about even. Not a good indicator. I would prefer more new positions than sold positions, but we don't really know much. We're learning as we go. Maybe there's a reason why people are selling out. Maybe, I think it did go up a lot over the course of a month. Let me see. So 1 month. Yeah, it was at $3. 3 months. Yeah, it was at $1.80. So they could have just sold out simply because they've already made their money. It's in the fives, so they tripled their money. All right, so BlackRock, phenomenal. Baker Bros, phenomenal. We all know Vanguard, but these two are the king of biotechs. So this Baker Brothers, 0 shares changed. They're holding a lot of shares, 13 million and 10 million. That's a value of $73 million and $59 million. That's a lot of money in a company that's, what was their market cap? Can I see their market cap on here? I don't think Robinhood shows market cap. All right, so sticking with BioChrist, great institutional ownership. Still, I think it's something vaccine related, but that's okay. We can figure that out over time. But I'm just giving you the idea of how I research it. So the next thing I'll do is I'll just pull up some charting and I will check and see where a good entry would be. So let's pull up a chart here. Okay. All right, so we got BCRX up, and let's do some quick technicals and see where a good entry would be. I'm typically a swing trader when it comes to biotechs, so I'm immediately seeing the reason why I like this was this solid trend line strength here. It's actually like just chilling in this channel here, which is really nice. If it breaks out of this zone, 580, 590, it can then test 630 as the testing area. I'm seeing good upside for this. It's currently here. It looks like it's probably going to push up this week, and I could see it at least testing 6, which is like a 10% move, and then ultimately testing 630, which is a 15% move. So you got a 10 to 15% potential on this one. If it falls, I would say your next level of support would be here, depending on its strength. So if it fell, I could see it touching here. It could also catch different zones depending on the reason for the fall. If it's just a sell-off, you know, there, here. I'm just using simple support. So those 3 levels, depending on the news. If it's bad news, it could bust all the way through all 3. If it's just a simple profit taking, it might just fall to 504, etc. So that's the process for BCRX. I would enter here. I like it in 530 to 540. I would enter and try and ride this to $6, 630 or beyond, and then also have a tight stop loss if it starts to dip the other way. All right, so next let's pull up the Nasdaq Holdings for IBIO. Let's check the institutional ownership on this one. very low, complete opposite, all retail. So this thing can be very wild. Usually when there's more institutional ownership, you see a lot of walls going up, a lot of block trades, keeping this thing in their hands, moving to where they want to move it. When it's retail, it could go any which way. It's a madhouse. Vanguard, BlackRock, a million, very small positions. Let's just look at the technicals on this one. Okay, so like I said, I do see a nice U formation here, and it can either test, I mean, most likely it's just going to hit 2. If it breaks through, I could see a support at 138 and a next support 128, and then finally major support there. That would be our thickest line of support. But I can see this doing a nice curl formation, which is a 30% move. If it falls, you got 8, etc. Damn, my laptop is smoking. So there is a lot of upside. This is actually a nice technical trade because there's a lot more upside than downside if you were going to set a stop loss. A lot more potential for profit than potential for loss. So that would be a nice entry. I would say at any point now, I would just honestly get in 146 to 151 range. If it continues to follow this U formation, I could see this testing $2. Or clearing this gap, or closing this gap here to 170 as a first test. So it actually could do something like this, coming up, and then boom, and then continuing up. All right, that's IBIO. Okay, and finally OBSV. Let's look at OBSV. Let's look at the institutional ownership on this company. Fuck out of here, cookies. 50% ownership, a good amount, pretty good. Held, decreased, all neutral. Can't really gauge anything on that. Neutral, 50-50. I don't know. OrbiMed, they're big. Rock Springs. Can't really gauge much on this. Let's look at the technicals. OBSV. Okay. Oops. Computer is smoking, it's so hot. This thing can't do screen share. Okay, so I think this is the one where I was saying it could close the gap. So we got a nice gap in here. And right now, stock this actually has some good potential to close that gap, which is a 70% move. Wow. Okay, so you have 70% potential if it closes, or I could see it falling to $3 if this is a pump, but it actually shows really good uptrend strength. So I'm going to quickly draw. Look at McDonald's wiping down the doors. Good job. Nice trend line here. Bam. As long as this holds this trend line, this can continue to churn up. I would believe it would first test this range at 462. So this might even be, I don't see any other resistance. So this could actually be a good swing trade and a safe play to test that area for a 10 to 11% gain. So that would actually be really nice little swing trade, and I could see that actually happening very easily. If it was to fall, I'd say we got a nice double support there. So you actually have a lot more upside than downside. So that's another good one. Let's do a quick search on StockTwits and see what this is, OBSV. Yahoo Finance is good too, maybe to find out if they could explain better what this company does. Oh, we already found out what this does. They do the pregnancy. Yeah, they do the pregnancy. So that it's actually a good company as far as what they're saying. I don't really know if they're a good company. Remember, don't get mad at me if I'm skipping over things you would normally do. I'm doing this as we go. Obviously I would put a lot more time into this, but I'm just speeding it up for the sake of the video. So that's the process. First I'm going to do FinViz to scan, find stocks. Then I'm going to research and find out what the company does, look at the background of the company a little bit. Then I'm going to go on StockTwits, try and find someone that actually has done the research, see if we could get like it's like a little cheat code to get some quick insight on the company. Yes, you can look at the company's profile and see what they do, but people have dug in and done the DD for you. So try and use that to your advantage. Then I'm going to look at the institutional ownership and see if I would prefer more institutional ownership. It's a safer play. If they have hundreds of millions of dollars, $10 million, $20 million in the company, they're doing a lot of research. So that's a sign that it's most likely a good buy because they hire a team of people that have been doing this their whole life. I mean, that's what they get paid to do. So if they're investing in it, there's a reason they're investing in it. So I like to look at that. And then lastly, I'll do my technical analysis and find my entry point. For this one, this would actually be a great entry. And I would actually get out. If it broke this trend line, I would get out. It looks like it's starting to fall through. I might have to clean my trend line up. But it would be a good entry. And maybe if it falls below 4, I get out. But if it stays up, 462 might be a good target. So that is it. That was a quick, I try to do that as fast as possible, just to give you some insight on how I find my stocks. And this is a quick 3-step method, FinViz, institutional ownership, technical analysis. And then you could add in the StockTwits if you're into that. I know there's a lot of people on there that spread fake news and they pump it, but like I said, there might be a diamond in the rough, might be a pin in the haystack that you could get some insight off of, or you could just jump right into doing your own DD. But if you're crunched for time, it's a nice little advantage. I do it. Use your logic, common sense, and see if you feel that they're genuine. So that is it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, point of the channel, help you retire young, give you tips and tricks on the way to do it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to retire young.